What's good, y'all? I'm Jerry, about to check out 10 worst moments of the dying days of WCW. This video is about WrestleMania. I personally am not a big WCW fan. I was so young when WCW was around, and during the last couple months of before it's closed down, I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't know anything about the last couple dying days of WCW. So I'm about to have us the video. We're on the road to 2K subscribers, so let's go.
WCW had some iconic moments throughout their existence as a promotion. Throughout the 90s,
I know they booked
WCW
Vince Russo as world champion
and offered an edgier and exciting product with the introduction of the New World Order, as well as the introduction of the innovative and wildly celebrated Cruiserweight division. Unfortunately, as WWE became red hot in the late 90s, WCW's quality quickly diminished, and this resulted in the once popular promotion putting out some of the worst wrestling content ever seen.
What the hell?
This was particularly the case during the final years of WCW's existence, specifically between 1999 to 2001. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 of the worst moments of the final dying days of WCW. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out WrestleMania.co.uk and on wrestling.
I'm pretty sure the booking was terrible during this time.
Number 10, Tank Abbott pulls out a knife.
Tank Abbott.
Tank
Never
Abbott
heard of
was
him.
one of the most interesting characters that debuted during the final years of WCW. Abbott was a legitimate MMA fighter, and head writer for WCW Vince Russo saw dollar signs the moment he saw him. Russo would even pitch an idea which would see Abbott win the WCW title, but thankfully this never materialized. Abbott had some rather infamous moments during his stint in the company, but one particular segment stands out for all the wrong reasons. The Super Bowl pay-per-view in 2000 featured the aforementioned Abbott taking on a wrestler known as Big Al. This wouldn't be a standard match, as it was WCW in the year 2000, meaning the match ended up being a leather jacket on a pole match.
There's Vince Russo's booking right there. Anytime they got a pole match, you got to climb up the pole, Vince Russo's behind it.
Informing everyone that he could kill him. WCW quickly panned away from the commotion, and WCW commentators tried to logically explain what had happened, but even they were completely baffled. This was an unplanned
Was that an off-script moment?
Miracle that somebody wasn't seriously hurt. Number 9, Oklahoma. There have been some tasteless wrestling parodies over the years, but the parody of Jim Ross that WCW presented in 2000 went too far. The character would be known as Oklahoma and was portrayed by former WWE writer Ed Ferrara. Ferrara would dress in a manner similar to JR, but he would mock JR's Bell's palsy, which was where the majority of the criticism from the character came. WCW devoted so much time to this outrageous character that Oklahoma would even win the Cruiserweight title, which speaks volume in relation to how little WCW valued the title during the final years of the company. The character quite rightly angered fans, as well as people in the wrestling industry. JR was beloved, respected and admired, and to mock him in this manner simply wasn't going to go under the radar. Jim Cornette would even challenge Ferrara to a fist fight, and he was so outraged at WCW's mockery of arguably wrestling's greatest commentator. Number 8, the Blood Botch. 2000 was a pivotal year for WCW as a promotion.
What kind of match is that where they stand on top of a cage? Whatever that is.
A great example of this was during the feud between former WCW World Champion Kevin Nash and the New Blood stable. During an episode of WCW Thunder, Nash would be standing in the ring, and a planned spot was to see a bucket of blood falling on his head. However, this would ultimately fail, as blood completely missed Nash, making the stable look completely incompetent. Nash virtually no-sold the botch, which was probably the smartest move. Just a few weeks later, a similar incident would occur as Nash was about to perform a jackknife powerbomb on Vince Russo on the outside of the ring. Blood would fall from the ceiling once again, and it somehow missed Nash for the second time. It was a total disaster and borderline laughable. Number 7, Judy Bagwell on a full
on live TV that happened twice.
Was obsessed with placing various items on poles during his time in WCW, from leather jackets to Viagra, but in the year 2000 he developed this concept even further when he decided to have a Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. The stipulation alone was enough to make fans realize that WCW was dead. There was no going back, but the execution of said match was beyond belief. The match would be between Kanyon and Buff Bagwell, and if Kanyon won, Judy would be his new valet. Whilst if Bagwell won, Judy would be free and wouldn't have to worry about any torment from the villainous Kanyon. The match began with Kanyon driving to the ring with Judy strapped to a forklift.
She probably was scared as a
Kanyon cut a promo and declared, "Everybody knows that this match is supposed to be a Judy Bagwell on a pole match, but I searched this entire second-rate country of Canada. But after searching this entire godforsaken country, I couldn't find a pole that would hold that big fat battle axe. The match was terrible, and even featured a run-in from David Arquette. Bagwell would win the match, and he would safely be reunited with his mother, who was dramatically lowered down to the ground. Number 6, Goldberg's car window incident.
Oh, he broke his hand.
Was often compared to the Wild West in the sense that talent
He either cut his hand or he broke his hand.
During the final years of the company, wrestlers going off script was common, and there was nobody with any true sense of authority to make them fall in line. One of the wrestlers who WCW management struggled to rein in was Goldberg, who in late 1999 went off script and almost bled to death as a result. On an episode of WCW Thunder, Goldberg would attack a limo with a metal pipe, then went off script and smashed a window with his own hand. The glass cut an artery in his arm, and he was forced to go to hospital immediately. This should have never happened, and whilst nobody is truly to blame other than Goldberg himself, WCW management should have had a better control over their talent. This situation was a clear sign that inmates were running the asylum. Number 5, Goldberg turns heel. Oh, speaking of Goldberg, during the late 90s, Goldberg's popularity skyrocketed. Their approach of booking Goldberg in squash matches worked wonders as Goldberg gradually became the most popular babyface in all of WCW. Unfortunately, things would begin to fall apart when they made the questionable decision to have Kevin Nash end Goldberg's 173-0 win streak. Despite this, the crowd remained pro-Goldberg. This is until Vince Russo implemented the drastic and
that's an easily botched move right there.
Turn him heel.
Somebody can easily sandbag.
Heel at the Great American Bash pay-per-view, turning on Nash and siding with Russo and his New Blood stable. To say this heel turn flopped hard would be an understatement. Goldberg looked uncomfortable in the role, and fans hated it. It completely killed the mystique of the former world champion, and Russo would ultimately take no responsibility for the failed heel turn, claiming on Sportskeeda's Legion of Raw that Goldberg's heart wasn't in it. Number 4, David Arquette wins the WCW World title. Now, the World title should be the most respected and prestigious title in a pro wrestling company, but in 2000, WCW completely killed any ounce of credibility the big gold belt had. Prominent actor David Arquette would take part in a tag team match which pitted him and world champion DDP against Jeff Jarrett and Eric Bischoff. The stipulation stated that whoever obtained the pinfall would win the title. Naturally, Arquette won the match and became world champion by pinning Bischoff in one of the most shocking moments in wrestling history. The decision was blasted by fans, and Arquette still gets ridiculed and blasted for it to this very day. Russo still likes to justify his decision to crown Arquette as the champion, but made a total mockery out of WCW and their once celebrated championship. Number 3, Vince Russo wins the WCW World title. Unfortunately, David Arquette winning the title wasn't the only time the title became worthless. In September 2000, Vince Russo decided to make himself the new WCW World Champion. That's right, the guy who was writing the WCW product decided to make himself the World Champion. Russo would take on Booker T for the title.
Because when you know things got bad.
The match would be heavily overbooked and featured numerous run-ins from top talent. The finish of the match came when Goldberg speared Russo through the cage, resulting in Russo winning the match and being crowned the new WCW World Champion. Days later on Thunder, Russo would announce that he was vacating the title as he wasn't a wrestler, rendering the entire title change completely pointless.
Why did you even do that?
A poke of doom. The January 4th, 1999 episode of WCW Nitro looks set to be a fantastic show. They had promised a Starrcade 98 rematch between Kevin Nash and Goldberg, but halfway through the show, Goldberg was arrested, taking him out of the main event. Hulk Hogan then made his grand return to WCW as Goldberg's high-profile replacement. The main event match between Hogan and Nash lasted just 30 seconds. After some stalling, Hogan would poke Nash in the chest, then proceeded to pin the world champion to once again become the top guy in WCW. Hogan and Nash would then celebrate.
There was a brilliant heel move with
Wolfpack would reunite. This was a historic moment for all the wrong reasons, as wrestling fans had completely lost faith in WCW following this stunt. The January 4th edition of Nitro was also the episode of Nitro in which Tony Schiavone spoiled the Mankind WWE title win on Raw, resulting in thousands upon thousands
that right
of
there
fans changing channels.
led WWF to beat. Led the start of WWF to beat WCW in the ratings every single week after that.
The biggest match on the show was to see Hulk Hogan take on Jeff Jarrett for the title. As prior to the event, backstage issues between Hogan and Vince Russo ensued, predominantly due to Hogan wanting to win the title. Ultimately, Russo decided to have Jarrett lay down for Hogan, allowing Hogan to win the match. This was completely planned and was going to lead to a storyline where fans became fully aware of Hogan's contractual backstage power. Following Hogan's victory, Hogan would cut a promo where he declared, "Is this your idea, Russo? That's why this company is in the damn shape it's in, is a bullshit like this. Russo then proceeded to cut a shoot promo in which he would completely berate Hogan in every conceivable way and even claimed that he was a piece of shit. The shoot promo was not part of the script and Hogan had no idea it was about to happen. This led to him departing WCW and filing a defamation of character lawsuit against Russo. During Russo's confusing promo, he would announce that Jarrett would take on Booker T in the main event of the show, as Jarrett was still the WCW World Champion. Booker T would then be crowned the new champion to close out one of the most infamous wrestling pay-per-views of all time. But there you have it, folks. 10 of the worst moments in the final dying days of WCW. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
Alright, y'all, great video, man. Let me know down below in the comments of what y'all thought of my reaction to this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.